Welcome to Cantrips and Cocktails.
Yay.
My name is Brandon, and I am the dungeon master of this wacky, zany podcast adventure. So to my left, we have
Landon, who plays Celty.
Ben, who plays Kane.
And I'm Colin, who plays Varus.
awesome. Good introduction, guys. You all know your names. It's all this stuff.
Good job.
So we will begin this episode with our, I don't know, is it now a traditional drink since we've done it for, I don't know, like I think this is episode like 14 or something.
I'd say obligatory.
Our obligatory drink,
We are
which
required.
has been prepared by Landon.
It is in our namesake, so...
Yeah, so Landon, tell us about this drink.
Yeah, so this is a cocktail. It's an actual cocktail.
Nice.
And it was actually sent in to me from my brother Noah, who will hear this hopefully. I think he listens.
Don't tell him what episode you do this in and see if he tells you.
Yeah,
And
that's
that
where
way
we gotta
confirm
know.
if he listens or
Yeah,
not.
Yep.
yeah, for sure. But he calls it the philosopher's wife because it's supposed to be sweet, and it has pomegranate and
That is a great
juice.
name for a cocktail.
Yeah, it's got sage and pomegranate juice, and then elderflower, like the Saint Germain. So it's like sage because of the plant, and sage as philosopher. But it also looks like a philosopher's stone because it's red.
It smells
So it's
delightful.
I think he put a lot of thought into like that, but it's very herby.
It smells
and
good.
just sweet enough. So cheers.
All right.
Cheers, boys.
Cling.
If we get enough of these like original cocktails and stuff, we should like put out a recipe book
Yeah,
I'm down.
on our non-existent Patreon.
there's an idea.
Immediately got a chunk of sage straight
Yep.
in my mouth.
Sorry. Oh yeah. Advice: double strain it. Don't be like me and only single strain. You don't get that way. You don't get sage in your teeth.
That's good.
I do like this a lot.
It is good.
That's really good.
That is
Yeah.
good. Well,
It's,
thank you, Noah, for
Good job
providing
on
our-
this, dude.
I was
Are
gonna say,
delicious.
I'm not usually a fan of like sage and like rosemary and
Yeah,
drinks and
well,
stuff, but
it's-
that's really good.
It's sage simple syrup too. So, but he was like, you could also probably do honey or just straight up normal like
Yeah.
simple syrup, just on.
I think it works
you
well
like.
because it's the botanist. Gin
Yeah, it's
too,
the botanist
right?
gin, which is kind of a little bit. I don't know. I would say it's not like weird or anything, but it's definitely like
Yeah.
a unique.
Yeah,
gin.
it's not
It's more-
I think
just like
Scottish.
juniper forward. It's like other interesting
yeah,
business going
very
on.
herbal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
which
cool.
makes sense given the name.
Herbaceous.
You know what? You make a good
No, it's
point.
yeah. So if you are at home and you're listening along with this, and it is of an appropriate hour, pause, go make yourself one, and we'll be here when you get back. But if you're listening on your drive and stuff, like sorry about you, make it when you get home.
Yep.
Nah, that's
And-
what to-go cups are for, man. No, don't.
That's
don't.
Louisiana. We're not in Louisiana.
Hey,
so
as long as the paper of the straw is still on it, it's a closed container.
in Louisiana.
Again,
Yes.
that's very much. Yeah.
What about? Well, okay. I was gonna ask about paper straws. But
Yeah, don't worry about the
pinch it
people.
closed.
The fact that you can
I
just
know,
like
that's what
open
I-
the lid and just close it back. Don't worry about
Do,
that.
do people just carry like a spare like straw in their like that like in their console and just like rip it up?
Probably.
And just stick it in
Probably.
there?
This episode of Cantrips and Cocktails brought to you by Random Liquor Laws.
all right,
Loopholes and such.
With that, we're going to fade out and play Dungeons and Dragons. You know, I had this thought for the past, I don't know, 13 episodes. I've been doing a recap. Why am I doing that? Clearly, whoever's listening to this knows what happened last time. I don't think we need a recap. This isn't Dragon Ball Z.
Last time.
Oh, I could do that. Last time on Cantrips and Cocktails.
And my brain just now goes to OSP's last time on Journey to the West, which is Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, so
I mean, Dragon Ball Z is that.
I don't know if
but-
I'm going to do a recap every time. I'm just going to do it if it makes sense to do it. But this time, we're going to dive right in to playing Dungeons and Dragons. To start off, I need all of you fools to roll me a Constitution check. Not a save.
Okay,
Oh,
Just a check.
right on.
okay.
I'm gonna roll the.
And this is...
knockback die.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not Constitution. Wisdom.
Oh,
Ooh, I'm
A straight wisdom check. and it's to determine something narratively.
I'm much better at those now to decide what dice won't screw me over.
I'm much worse at those, actually.
That was not the dice. That was
All
a
right,
natural one.
all right, Celty got a natural 1. Kane, what'd you get?
That'd be a 12.
12, and Varus
22.
22.
I was
Okay.
about to say, if I was a top again on a wisdom check, so help me God.
Right, with a druid and a cleric. Like,
Yeah.
the barbarian gets the high wisdom roll.
Oh my god.
Do I get to add that +3 to me on
It
this?
doesn't, it doesn't matter. It's basically I'm trying to figure out a tier of like orders of you guys, so you would still be
So
third.
I go crazy first.
Yep. No. Varus, your vision comes back to you, but you find yourself now lying on your back. To your above you, you see the dark cavern ceiling, but you see orange light dancing off of it, and you notice at your feet, about 2 feet away from you, is a small campfire. On either side of you are Celty and Kane. You've all been covered with blankets and have pillows under your heads. You lift your head up. A short way across the chamber is another campfire. You see around it shapes. It's hard to tell at this. You'd have to really try and focus your vision, and you're still kind of coming out of this daze. What would you like to do?
They're both just out.
Yeah, they're out. It's hard to tell.
Beat me to it.
Oh, gods, it's happened again. I'll kind of stand up and brush myself off. And I'll make sure that, like, not go and, like, put my hands and, like, do a full inspection, but just make sure they're not, like, they're breathing, they're okay.
Yeah,
But,
just do a quick medicine check.
okay.
Because we don't. roll
Oh,
this often.
that's not going to be good.
I'm not dead yet.
Well, I'm proficient, so it's an 8.
They're breathing. They don't seem to be any kind of distress. Yeah, they just seem to be unconscious, breathing. You don't know whether they're asleep or something else, but yeah,
Okay.
all physical signs point to they're okay.
Given this is not the first time something like this has happened to Varus, I think I can track what's happened here. So I'm going to, I guess, kind of call out and, are you still here? Is everything okay? How long were we out?
And you see some of the shapes get up. You see now there's more, rough estimate, more than 10 shapes around this fire.
Oh,
But you see, scurrying over to you, you see Dodrin, followed by Lukesh, followed by Professor Fellows, followed closely then by Bamba, the Goblin Chief. And they all kind of crowd around you.
oh, it's been a while then.
Dodrin immediately goes to kind of like inspecting you. Lukesh joins him in that. And while this is all happening, Lukesh says, "Well, you were out for about 2 hours. How do you feel? Do you feel fine? What happened?
Well,
Tell." And Lukesh now starts to get a little and says things like, "Tell me everything."
yes. That's reassuring. It was only 2 hours this time.
This time.
Yes.
This time. What do you mean? What do you mean this time? Has this happened before?
Well, the visions I spoke of, I guess it was a similar unfolding. I can only speak for myself, I suppose. A vision of a forest, a massive tree, and there was a cloak.
A cloak.
The symbol, and I'll
Show it.
go and
Yeah,
I'll,
just kind of
I'll
draw
grab
it. Draw it. Yeah.
the
And
one.
Lukesh looks at it. Remember, Lukesh is this Darrow, which is basically like a twisted dwarf.
Mm-hmm.
Little shorter than a dwarf, a little more like slight of frame. And we can go more into like Darrow backstory and all that if you want to. But just serve it to know he's kind of like a dwarf with like purplish skin.
Cool.
And pupilless eyes that are just kind of like glazed over like foggy white. But he sees the symbol, and he looks at it. He goes, "That is the symbol of the Brightmoor. It is one of the symbols of the heralds. You said that the cloak had this symbol upon it?
Yes, it did.
Did you? I don't know if you actually said that, but I think you did.
I think I did.
If you didn't, we'll say you said it.
Yeah.
Whatever. It would seem that what is called out to you is one of the heralds itself, the cloak of the Brightmoor.
So it's done. We've passed. We survived at the very least.
You've at least been selected to attempt to locate it at that much. I wonder what if the other two experienced similar things.
And I'm going to guess there's not much chance you can point us in the right direction.
Well, you said it was a massive forest. Is there anything else you can tell me? And if you want to, you can tell him everything.
Yeah, I'll tell him about the giant tree. What I think we said it was like 40 foot
in
diameter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I think really the only telling descriptor I would have.
Yeah,
You know, it's a big forest, but there's a giant tree.
he kind of looks at you and he says, I have never left the darkness of a cavern or the Underdark before in my life." And now he looks at Dodrin and Fellows and he says, "Does this mean anything to you?" And Fellows goes, you see that Fellows is like a little off on edge, like he never expected this to be what happened here. Also, like Dodrin did tell you when he came over that like he pretty much between he and Lokesh they got Professor Fellows up to speed on what's been going on.
Cool.
Professor Fellows says, I don't know of any force like that myself. No, Dodrin, do you? Dodrin just says, "Well, I can't think of anything that jumps to mind. At least nothing on Ubiquitous. It sounds like something that might be, I don't know, on another continent, but nothing here." And at this point, Bamba pipes up and she says, "Well, I must say, actually, that sounds like something I've never heard of it myself, but if there's anyone that would know of such a force, I believe that it would be the Kalantari might be a good source of information. Well, I know some of them, and I might be able to point you in the right direction."
That is a good thought, actually. I would much appreciate that.
And around this time, Kane begins to stir. And Kane, you also come to consciousness, and you hear this talking going on beside you, but it takes a moment for you to reorient yourself back into your body.
Why does my head hurt? Oh, there's people, and I immediately pull out my axe. And I'm just like,
And Dodrin's there. He's like, no, it's okay. It's okay, Kane. We're all friends. It's me and Lukesh and the professor. We're all here.
Are any of them like within arm's reach of me?
Dodrin would be now. Yeah.
I just kind of poke them just to like check and make sure I'm not still like hallucinating.
And Dodrin's like, yeah. Are you okay? And he checks your forehead and he's like, I can't tell if Dragonborn ever have fevers or not.
You know, I don't actually know.
How do you feel, Kane?
I feel like I just got smacked upside the head with a rock, but not in a actually damaging way. I don't know how to describe this.
At this point, Lukesh like pushes Dodrin aside. He goes, "Did you see a vision? Did you see the cloak of the Brightmoor? That's what Varus saw. What happened? Was there a cloak in a forest?"
I didn't see any greenery at all. I just saw wastes, fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Red lightning in the sky, a wasteland, dark. The ground almost like black.
Okay,
with
yeah,
soil,
that's right. I was just making sure I was recalling.
Fire
that correctly.
erupting from geysers.
Just desolation and just
Cue some AC/DC.
And I saw a sword for me, and it had this symbol, and I draw the little square.
That's the symbol of the devoted, of the herald of the devoted. So you saw the blade of the devoted.
I would assume so, but I don't know what to make of that. I mean, I don't know if that kind of landscape just seems like something out of nightmares. Doesn't seem like it'd be a real.
If that is
thing.
anywhere on Ubiquitous, there's one place that I know it could be. And Dodrin goes, "Where?" He goes, It's called the Darklands. It's to the southwestern edge of our continent. I believe your people sent some exploratory vessels there at one point when the settlements first arrived. And Professor Fellows then chimes in because he feels like this is something that he knows about. And he goes, "Oh, yes. They went to investigate because we were getting the airships were getting strange atmospheric readings there, but very few people came back, and those who did quickly lost their mind. It's all we know about it really is that it's a land of desolation and horrible, horrible monsters."
Lovely.
Oh,
That seems like a decent place to hide something, I would assume. Assuming any of this is even real. I mean,
Lukesh looks at you, and his brow furrows. Goes, "If the diviner showed it to you, it has to be real. The diviner would not show falsehood. It is truth."
well, everything can be interpreted, correct?
To an extent.
I'm just being hard-headed. And my head
And
hurts.
then, Celty, you also now begin to rouse.
What? Where? Oh. So we're alive.
it would seem.
Celty, hello, Professor Fellows here.
Yes. One moment, Professor. Dodrin, do you have anything for a hangover with you? I feel like I just drowned in a cask of ale and no one pulled me out until just now.
We might have some stuff back out at the wagons. We left everything out there. I brought the professor in.
Okay, yeah.
But we can see if we can give you something later.
Okay. Go ahead, Professor. Sorry.
Yes. Celty, the other two had visions. Young Varus here, and he gives Varus like a quick clap on the shoulder. He saw a cloak around a ginormous tree that no one knows if it exists or not. Cain saw a sword stuck into the ground in a desolate, fiery wasteland that we think is a place called the Darklands. Ooh, scary stuff. What did you see?
Well, I dreamt of a giant cooked chicken on the high seas, and it was cooked beautifully. I think Varus actually cooked it. Smelled like his
Chicken
signature
is
recipe.
one of my specialities.
Roll a deception check.
8.
The professor's
I'm saying
face-
this with
yeah.
a smirk on my
Yeah,
face.
the professor's face just drops, and he just glares at you, and then he turns and walks back over to the other campfire.
Professor, come back.
No, blast damn it! This is supposed to be my expedition. Now it's about the three of you, and he just goes and he sits down in a huff among these other like goblins that are over there, and McCullen, the other Darrow, and he's just like his arms are folded, and he's just glaring at the fire.
I'll go. I kind of like nod to the other two and Lukesh, and I go and sit down by the fire and kind of actually put a hand, because I feel like I'm pretty familiar with Professor Fellows. He came into the Seekers, like the Chattering Parrot often. Yeah. Professor, I was just making light of honestly, a terrifying situation. That's kind of my MO, if you haven't noticed. I'm sorry. I know how important this is to you, and I should have been more considerate of that. Yes, here, let me tell you what I saw. And I'll draw out the moon kind of geometric symbol, and it was no place that I recognized, but it was this grand hall with honestly the most beautiful mosaics I've ever seen. Suns, moons of different phases, and luminosities and seasons. Honestly, I don't know how they could convey that with just working through a mosaic palette, but there was a glimmering breastplate that didn't seem to have any markings on it other than this symbol, but it had the most beautiful amber glow I've ever seen, and it felt like it blinded me at one point with this brilliant flash. I think that's why I had this splitting headache, but that's all I remember.
And from behind you, you hear Bamba, the goblin chiefess, say, "You say mosaics of the seasons and the phases of the moon and sun."
Yes.
And you see that she looks across to Lukesh, And Lukesh says, "No, there's only one place I think that could be. It sounds like it's part of the Fallen City."
Fallen City, is that
It-
would Celti know what that is?
No.
Okay.
You would not. Lukesh says, it's an, I don't know if you would call it urban legend. It's a legend among us denizens of the Underdark. There claims to be a city that once flew high above the surface of Ubiquitous some millennia or two ago, that no one knows why, but it crashed and actually submerged itself into the earth, finding home in the Underdark, and now it's inhabited by who knows what. No one knows where it's located, but there are those who claim they've found it and that it's a horrifying place, but that it's at the same time beautiful. If what you speak of is true, and I would say that you probably described the architecture in detail.
Yeah.
Lukesh says that description matches what could be the Fallen City. I'm not certain though. You would have to either go in the Underdark yourself and try and find it, or talk to someone who knows a bit more about the legends of the Underdark. I gave all that up long ago when I came here.
That must have been a sight to see a floating city. She kind of just mumbles that under, softly. It was still quite beautiful. I'd like to see it. But it scares me a bit.
I think it should. And the professor just says, "Who, that's all fine and good, but you three are still under my employ." And Dotrin just kind of goes, "Right."
We would not have come to this place without your aid, without your leadership.
One might say that our discovery is technically your discovery, because you brought us here.
Good, remember that. And now he turns and looks at Lukesh. Now, back to our discussion about the items and knowledge that can be found here. I intend to spend time here excavating, researching, and taking knowledge back to the settlements. This is my discovery. And Lukesh says, "You find what was not lost. We have been here. We were not hiding. Those may have forgotten, but we were not trying to keep it a secret. So you say you found us, but to us you were just visitors."
He does have a point, Professor. That's like visiting a new city and finding a wonderful mansion and claiming it's yours just because no one is out on the front lawn, but rather in their parlor,
And
enjoying a nice cup of tea.
the professor's just stewing over this. He's just fuming. He's mad. He was expecting to come here and bring a whole wagon full of artifacts back to Port Mara.
Is there like a little pot or vase or something that's just off in the corner?
No,
that
actually, the chamber
broken
you guys are in
urn?
is pretty much empty except for that dais that it was on, that the Great Diviner is floating in. And you guys actually see the Great Diviner is still just sitting now. The light's gone. It's no longer floating. It's just sitting on the dais. But other than that, the room is empty.
I am curious, what did you see, talking to Lukesh,
What do you mean?
when we reached out? For me at least, it was but an instant, but
You all grab it. You stood there for 5-10 minutes, your eyes glowing, and then you collapsed. Dodrin here was a great help in us making sure that you were all right and setting the fire, and he went and got the astute professor here, and he was a great help in that. He also fetched Bamba and brought everyone here because, well, with the Herald's call coming, it seems that it's time for the monastery to get back together, to be in action again.
in action, I assumed that this was your action. What?
This was what I believe to be... truthfully, I thought I would die waiting for someone to come to answer or take hold of the diviner. But now that someone has, well, when the heralds are found and brought together, they will need support. They will need guidance, and that is the next part of the monastery's mission. So I must find students and teach them the way of the heralds.
While this discussion is happening, I'm just slowly walking over to the diviner and just gonna start like kind of poking at it to see if I freak out again.
No, it's seems to be an inert stone. If you're poking at it, nothing happens.
All right, I pick it up.
Yeah, and the second you pick it up, you feel almost a resonance with the stone.
Okay.
And that's you resonating with its magical property to where you can use the Great Diviner's magical properties, which I mentioned at the last episode. So, Kane, as of now, if you want to add that to your inventory, I'm going to make a card that you guys can like easily pass around between you. But for now, Kane, if you just want to, it should be in there. I built it in there, and so you should be able to add it to your inventory for now. But you have the Great Diviner.
Okay. I go ahead and slap it on my back.
Okay. And it weighs roughly like 15 pounds. It's not crazy heavy. I don't think I've added a weight on there, but
My beat of Aris.
200 pounds.
I don't know about you, but I'm very weak. 15 pounds is very heavy.
I think Celti would probably walk over to Lukesh and Lukesh, you speak of starting anew at at this monastery and bringing in new students?
yes, that is something I need to figure out. I believe Bamba and her clan are interested in taking up the way, and Bamba kind of nods, and you see some of the other goblins behind sort of nodding.
Do the heralds have like a creed or rules to guide their actions, that if we find individuals that seem to align in your practice with your practices, we could send them to you?
We believe in truth. Truth and justice for all. But beyond that, one of our greatest tenements is that the good of all comes before the good of few. So self-sacrifice and doing what is necessary, even if it means giving of oneself fully. A big part, and granted, I've never actually practiced in earnest with other students. I picked it up from my master, and I was his only pupil. But it's the best way to have a refined soul is to refine your mind and your body. So that is where we'll begin. We'll need to pull out some of our old texts, brush them off, and begin to educate.
Well, Professor, that sounds like that might be of interest to you. A library filled with ancient texts of the archaic, yet storied past of this beautiful monastery that you're so interested in. What better way to preserve the knowledge and history of this place than to revive it? I mean, that sounds like an undertaking an undertaking of the lifetime that anyone would be proud of, especially a scholar such as yourself.
Not to mention, this might be history in the making.
Roll a persuasion check at advantage. I'm saying that Kane's helping you out here.
Sweet. Thank you. And I really needed that. Hold on.
What was it?
8 total.
An
Dang,
8.
these my
Rolled a
normally
4
good
and a
dice
6.
are sucking.
Man. The Professor Fellows just kind of stares at you. He gets up and kind of brushes himself off. He goes, believe I have a lot to think about. Dodrin, I'll be out in my wagon if anything comes up. It was nice meeting you, Lukesh, and Bamba, was it? And Bamba just kind of nods her head. He goes, yes, well, I'll see you all later. Goodbye. And he walks out of the chamber of the heralds where you all are.
I feel like we need to do something nice for him. I do feel bad.
Should we just get him drunk tonight?
Dodrin says, give him some time. This was, out of everything could have possibly expected to find here, this wasn't it. Once he'll come around, he'll see that this is more than he could have ever bargained for. Just, he spent decades researching this place, and it kind of, the expectation wasn't the reality. I don't think it's a disappointment to him. It just, he thought he might be prepared for whatever he found here, and this is far from that.
I do feel like it's almost like I've sat in a child's birthday cake, honestly. That's kind of the feeling I have right now.
In some senses, I suppose we have.
Dodrin just looks at all of you and says, well, I mean, are you guys feeling okay? I mean, it's getting to be around supper time if you all are hungry.
Chicken sounds lovely, honestly.
Okay, and Dodrin turns and goes, Lukesh and McCullen, would you all like to join us outside? And Bamba, too, and your goblins, would you all like to join us outside for a meal? And the goblins kind of go, Van.
And ale, because we brought a couple casks.
I think we
of
had
that,
like
right?
2 or 3 casks, like
Yeah.
barrels of
Mhm.
it.
And
Dude,
Lukesh just says, you should have led with that. Lead on. Go.
I was about to say, I plan on getting
I guess that's
the
true. Yeah, it's
professor messed up.
nighttime, so he can come outside.
Yeah.
Cool.
So they would be able to
Cool,
come
cool.
outside.
Ha-
right now.
Has he ever been outside before?
If you ask him, he'll answer that.
Yeah, I think I would bring that
just
up
through
in the
general
walk. I'm just
on the walk
curious.
out. Lukesh says, I was outside once in my life for roughly, I believe it was what you all passed the time for is months, a 3-month period. But it was when
Really?
I left the horrible life that I was leading with the Darrow, and I found my way here and became a student. Be cautious, Varus. If you ever meet any of my kind, they do not... I am a unique specimen of the Darrow.
In what way?
Most are mad, driven mad with an insanity instilled in them by wild magic. They attack first and never ask questions later. They are a violent and paranoid lot. I was once like them, but I thankfully was in my own way saved from that.
The warning is much appreciated. I must confess I know shockingly little of much of the world.
Not many know much of our kind.
Sounds a lot like Dave. But our interaction with Dave.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, Dave.
Getting some extra introspective looks on that interaction.
We were the ultra-violence.
Self-defense.
What is this Dave? Is it a great creature you slew?
Well, highwaymen accosted us. We may have been a bit overzealous in our self-defense.
We protected ourselves with extreme prejudice to an extent we kind of didn't expect to put forth, for lack of a better term.
We made enemies.
Well, you're bound to do that in this world, and especially on this continent. Everyone seems to want something from somebody, and they tend to want to take it by force.
See, Lukesh gets it.
I still feel bad.
It was an unfortunate encounter.
Yeah. But you all make your way outside. There's a fire there. Dodrin kind of stokes the flames up, makes a nice, almost bonfire size, just a really nice, full campfire.
Nice.
Yeah, what are you guys preparing for the meal? I mean, Dodrin will assist you guys with whatever you want to do.
I believe chicken was discussed.
Chicken
which,
was discussed. And
Varus, if you would like help with preparations.
Varus feels pretty full of himself from the last couple of experiences.
I'll be the sous chef to his head chef.
All right.
I'll take Lukesh's arm kind of like in the crook of my elbow and be like, Lukesh, you're in for a treat. Varus is an excellent chef. His chicken is
Please roll terrible.
unrivaled.
it would be.
I believe that we discussed that Varus is the intelligence-based chef who focuses more on the preciseness of cooking and less on feeling it. So,
I think that tracks.
Varus, I need you to make, since you're not proficient with culinary tools or anything like that,
Yet.
just make me an intelligence check.
Cool.
Does he get advantage since I'm helping?
No, straight roll.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
I tried.
Roll good, roll good. I'm modifying the DC with your help.
That's fair.
Oh, that's a good roll. 18.
18.
How are you constantly
Yeah,
anything
I swear,
cooking related?
Yeah, cooking. It's
Varus, you prepare probably easily 12 chickens in the style that Keth taught you about a month ago now, actually, how to prepare. And you pass them out to everyone. There's some ale poured. As they begin to eat it, you see the goblins like all take a bite of theirs and they go, and they look at you, Varus, and one of them just says, "Teach us." And Lukesh is picking at his, and he goes, "Varus, this is delicious."
Thank
And
you.
as you were cooking, the professor did come out of his wagon. He's just kind of sitting there. He's sipping on a wine. He's chatting amicably, but you can tell that he's kind of more internalizing a lot of things
Yeah.
and thinking things through.
I feel like Celty's also like falling back into her like barkeep like
Oh yeah, yeah.
tendency, just like keeping everybody topped off. Like I'm making sure the professor is like never like basically the level in his drink is never
Yeah,
dipping very much.
Dipping much. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Celtic can play barkeep.
And on that note, do I notice the professor just kind of seeming downtrodden?
Yeah, it's not hard for anyone to tell.
In that case, I go ahead and get 2 cups of ale,
Okay.
and I just walk over to Professor. I sit down next to him, and I just go, Professor, you're the one that started on me on this journey. What do you say we play a game?
Okay. What do you propose, Kane?
It's a game I used to play whenever I was on some of my more regular expeditions and travels with the Mysterium Trading Company whenever I'd help them out. It's called Drink the Beer. And
Oh, all right.
but there's 2 rules.
Okay.
First off, no spilling.
Oh, all right.
Second of all, God, I can't speak.
I feel like Kane would just say second of off.
Second of all, the other rule is whoever finishes first gets to make the other person do one thing of their choosing, within reason.
All right.
More in a jolly way, not in a
Okay. So
weird way.
Okay. So sure, Kane. We can play this game.
Okay. Well, first off, what is your thing you would like me to do if I lose?
Don't talk to me for the rest of the evening.
Well, this went a little harsher than I expected.
Oh, I mean, was that too on the nose?
No, I understand.
I want you to go hunt another deer.
Fair.
All right.
If I win,
Yes.
you have to go try to sing a song to Celty.
And he kind of glares at you and he goes, all right. This seems like an interesting proposition there, Kane.
And I'll up the wagers a little bit. Or not up the wagers, but increase your chances. We can do the best 2 out of 3.
I don't need it.
Ooh.
Big old grin has appeared across Kane's
And
face.
the professor's like raising an eyebrow at you. And he's now set his wine glass down. And he's like, he looks over at Celty and goes, Celty? Get me Kane. Get me Kane. Get Kane and I. To what?
I already have him.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah,
never mind.
I walked up.
He goes, oh, never mind.
And you want 2 more?
Sure.
And I stick out my hand and just shake his hand and just go, let the games begin, sir.
All right. And he just goes back.
As soon as I see that dirty trick, I'm going as
All
well.
right. Go roll a constitution check. No, saving throw.
With a shit-eating grin, I'm like pouring 2 more
Yeah,
flagons.
the
of
next
ale.
round.
Yeah.
All right. What'd you roll?
22.
22. All right. In a feat that surprises everyone, Kane finishes a split second before the professor does. Professor got a 19 plus 1.
Oh.
So
Dang.
you end. The professor comes down. And he goes, "Oh bollocks!"
I think that was close enough for a rematch.
Professor?
No, a deal is a deal.
I offered best 2 out of 3.
Nope, I turned it down. This is a bed of my own making.
Well, then I'll just hand 1 flagon to Kane, and I'll start drinking out of this one.
Okay.
And I lean over to the professor and I go, Sir, you are a man of your word, and that is very respectable. And also, not many people can keep up with me. So that is also very respectable.
Were you near them when they made this wager?
No, I was
Okay.
I was probably off by the campfire, not by the wagon or anything, and just like talking to Bamba or someone.
So the professor turns his eyes on you. He goes, "Celty, my dear. Yes. Please do take a seat." And he gets up in front of the fire, and everyone's kind of has their eyes now on him. And
I want to like shoot a glance at Kane. What?
I'm busy. I'm very distinctly like keeping the mug in front of my eyes, so I can't.
so I'm not actually going to sing.
Oh.
But you hear the professor. Here, let me roll a performance check for him. Hold on. Holy fuck. Okay.
I'll take a seat, cross my legs, and like just kind of like
Acapella.
sip the.
Acapella.
Okay.
The professor begins to sing beautifully,
Oh yes.
and I have looked up a medieval love poem
Oh my
that he begins to sing the words of. I'm going only to recite the first like verse in a bit. Okay. So he begins to sing, and it's beautiful, and the words are: "For weal or woe, I will not flee. To love that heart that loveth me. That heart my heart hath in such grace, that of two hearts one heart make we. That heart hath brought my heart in case, to love that heart that loveth me. For one the like unto that heart never was, nor is, nor never shall be, nor never like cause set this apart. To love that heart that loveth me." And he sings this song, and at the end of it, you guys just see McCullen, the other Darrow, just goes like he starts like clapping really like quickly and aggressively, and everyone else is just kind of like quiet for a moment, and then the professor like straightens his jacket and just goes and sits down and picks up his wine goblet and just drains the whole thing right then.
I would also applaud.
He rolled a natural 20 on his performance
Oh my
check.
gosh.
I was
Nice.
about to say, I'm just approaching him with another glass
Yeah,
of wine.
so-
And he
just
just
going,
takes it and begins just downing it as well.
Celty just kind of looks into her drink, takes a big swig of it, and Professor, that was very impressive. I didn't know you had that in you. And I just shove a tankard in his hands. It's like, you should drink with us more often.
Go. Perhaps I will begin to. And he just looks down at it.
And I want to give him like, I'm gonna do a flirtatious wink, like just wink, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the professor's cheeks do redden slightly, but you guys you're not sure, Salty, if it's embarrassment or the drink that's setting them. While all this is going on, Varus, you don't notice the Salty with your passive perception because the
Sure.
professor was cued in on you.
Dialed in.
Yeah.
While this is going on, Varus, you noticed that Dodrin went up to Lukesh and pulled him aside, and the two of them are having a conversation off a ways away from the fire.
Okay. Does it look like, just kind of a simple, like, quiet conversation? Is there any, like, body language that looks on edge?
It appears to start that way. Lukesh remains very reserved, but Dodrin seems to get more and more, not agitated, but more animated as they're talking over the course of 2 to 3 minutes.
Interesting. I don't think I'll go over and interrupt,
Okay.
but I'm definitely, like, I'm not just, like, staring at it,
Right.
but very much paying attention to the conversation.
Yeah. And after another 3 or 4 minutes, about the time that this interaction between Celty and the professor is over, both of them do return, and they're sitting separately, but Dodrin keeps like throwing glances over toward Lukesh
Okay.
for the rest of the evening.
At that point, I think I'd probably go over and just, is everything all right?
Hi Varus. Yeah, everything's fine, or I hope it will be.
I don't want to intrude, but I could tell that you were a bit on edge with him, and I will not force you to divulge anything you are not comfortable, but if there's anything that we need to be alert about, I would just like for us to be prepared.
Roll a persuasion check.
Okay. Well, that's okay. Persuasion is a 13.
Varus, it's nothing to do with, it's nothing to do directly with you all. Right now, I'd just like to keep it between Lukesh and I, if that's all right.
Okay. If there's anything we can do, just let us know.
Thank you. It's really it's up to Lukesh now.
Can I get you another ale?
Sure, that'd be great. Thank you.
Which at this point I come stumbling over with an extra one and just go, do either of you guys want this? Salty gave me an extra.
Sure, Kane. I'll take it.
Okay, pass it over and I go,
Thanks.
hey Varus,
Yes.
have you ever arm wrestled as a bear before?
I don't think I can
So I
do
was like, can you even
that.
be a bear?
I think bear is going to be higher than CR half.
Yeah, I think you might be able to be a brown bear.
Vars,
Can you be
I
a
went to arm wrestle
I think there is
an
a
animal today.
Great ape or an ape?
Oh, that sounds terrifying to arm wrestle.
I'm trying to remember.
I used to have a list pulled up, and I don't think I've updated the print-offs that I have
Yeah, since
to add
Sorry, I didn't,
CR
mean to,
half.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I was just
Nah,
trying to-
you're good.
you could be an ape if you wanted to be.
I'll heckin' arm wrestle an ape.
yeah, I think I can manage something, and
You could also be a black bear.
a black bear. Okay. Would you prefer to wrestle something with or without claws?
Yes. Are you about to let fate decide?
Yep. Yep. Nope.
Get it in the tray, sir.
Hey, it bounced. Okay, odds was claws, and it's a 4. So you don't get claws. Please, no one be alarmed, and I'll kind of back off into a spot where I'm not gonna hulk into an ape, like on top of Dodrin or something.
Right, right.
But sure, I'll wild shape into an ape.
The grin just gets larger.
Okay. Kane, how many beers has Kane had?
Enough to be tipsy, so I'd say at
Okay.
least 6.
Okay. Your checks are at disadvantage.
I figured. I'm not doing this to win. I'm doing this to have fun. And if I win, shame on you.
All right. So you guys are going to arm wrestle?
True. That's
Yeah.
what I've been asked to do.
All right.
Put on a spectacle for the goblins.
Let's
and
make
the old
them
men.
no, we'll just do strength checks.
Just straight strength.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I'm at disadvantage.
Cuz I don't think arm wrestling is like an athletics ability. It's just
It's
pure
it's
force.
raw strength.
There's technique, but probably not in this situation.
Not
I
as
was about to
an
say,
ape.
how do you technique an ape? One of them was a natural 20.
Rip.
Oh, bummer.
Aw.
What was the other one?
9.
10.
So there's some back and forth, and then the ape just boom beats you, Kane.
Beat my chest a little bit.
That's 2 out of 3. 6.
7.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. The ape wins again.
I would like to point out that the metal dice was a 20 and then an 18.
Yeah. Well,
Rip.
Ah.
you are drunk though.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
That first one too, I watched it. It was like in like a 17, and then that last little roll was like
tilt.
4 or something like that,
5,
or
yeah.
5. Yeah.
Is there anything else anyone would like to do this evening while you all are kind of having this party, little like campfire party outside, or you guys like you guys keep doing stuff, but if you're ready to just kind of have the evening wind down, nothing else specific you want to do.
I mean, I was about to say, I don't know about you guys, but at some point I do want to talk to Lukesh about some of like the older Dragonborn traditions. I may be hammered, but I still have priorities.
Lukesh would encourage you to talk to him in the morning in your state.
You know what? That's fair.
All right.
That is fair.
I would probably talk to. Do we say it was Bamba or Bamba?
Bamba.
Bamba. And we don't have to RP it, but just kind of like talk to her about where the Callantir
Yeah.
are.
Kalantari.
Kalantari, sorry.
No, that's okay. It's a new term for
Yep.
you. I get
Yep.
it.
I knew it was a K.
Yeah, she would tell you that the Kalantari are difficult to pin down because they are a nomadic migratory group. But you can almost always guarantee that you're going to find a group wandering somewhere in the Silver Slopes or wandering in the open fields between the settlements and Optivis. There's always a group in those areas.
Okay.
DM question.
Yeah.
Do either of these two actually know where Optivis would be?
Yeah, everyone knows where it is.
Okay,
Just
okay.
everyone knows the location of it. Just only Dragonborn know what lies within its boundaries.
Gotcha. I just didn't know if that was a common
Yeah.
knowledge thing or if they'd...
Yeah,
just
yeah. In
say
fact,
that-
it's kind of the settlements like almost go out of their way to avoid like Optivis like water regions. Even like they don't sell their ships close to that portion of the continent because like the Optivis is like we will retaliate aggressively, and so they're trying to play nice.
You gotta stay in international waters.
Pretty much, yeah. In fact, if you want to like, you can't get within 50 miles. Like they say like you don't get within 50 miles of our coastline.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That tracks.
Sea borders.
I've also been pushing drinks at Dodrin throughout the night
Okay.
as well. I
Yeah.
don't have any goal in that. I'm just
Yeah, by the time
seeing if he's goofy.
You're just trying to get everyone drunk.
By the time the evening rolls down, yeah, Dodrin is very drunk. The professor goes off at some point, just kind of quietly goes to sleep. The rest of you can take a long rest.
Cool.
Yay! Hit points come back.
Good.
Because I've been a little wounded for a while.
Yep. I was almost out of spells.
I was out of rages.
And
Those are
when
important.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering why you didn't rage for
Yeah.
the arm wrestle.
I was out.
That makes sense.
in the morning, you all wake up a little later than normal. Lukesh and McCullen and the goblins all went back into the cave,
Sure.
into the monastery. I mean, in the morning, you guys wake up probably mid-morning or so. Before he left, Lukesh did tell you all to come find him in the morning. You guys could have more to discuss about your visions and to kind of maybe see what he can do now as the official. He kind of said, I suppose I'm the new headmaster of the monastery. As you all are maybe eating some carb-heavy stuff to lighten the load of a hangover, Varus, a voice whispers behind your ear almost. Varus, it's Simone. I hope things are well. I hope your expedition is everything you've hoped it to be. I'm contacting you on in an official manner, it would seem. The mage in residence of Leet has been taken into custody, and you all have been summoned to give testimony in his trial. You're due back in Port Mara as quickly as you can so we can move forward with proceedings. Oswald Pinkton, he's up to no good.
Neato Cheeto. Dang, I kind of wanted to spend some time here. Yeah, I would.
It's up. I mean, it's up to you guys. I'm true. Like she just said, as quickly as possible. That could be immediately. You guys could take an extra week. It's up to you
I
guys.
suppose that's true. We were summoned on our own timeline, as it were. But it is. How long did it take to get out here? 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
It took you all. It took you all 3 weeks to get here. But you all did know that leaving, because you guys didn't know where this was. For leaving, your all's plan was pretty much to try and shoot straight south and not take the mountainous terrain back. So it would take you guys moving at a great speed. It would only take you about if you're moving fast and resting minimally about 10 days to get back at full tilt.
Okay. That's true. We were also going to try and kind of wrap around to not run into the free riders.
Yeah, true.
Because I don't want to deal with that right now.
I mean, how bad could it be, though? We put them in their place in one
That's true.
swing.
They haven't had the time to do their full training montage
Yeah,
yet.
who's left? Dave and two other guys or something like that.
There were a handful.
Yeah, there were a
We
few.
killed his
Yeah.
cousin.
I think there were 6 total. So there's 5 of them left, I believe.
I thought we
We
killed 2
that
people.
outnumbered. We only killed one.
You killed one. You bounced.
You
2 up.
sleeped a ton of them.
Yeah, and then they kept attacking, which was
I-
why it was self-defense.
I very much ended one guy just on the spot.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah, you OK'd him.
anyway,
It happened to be his cousin.
So we need to go see Lukesh in the morning.
yeah, if you guys want to.
Would I remember that I specifically asked him about Dragonborn stuff in my drunken state?
Sure.
Okay.
You got drunk. You didn't black out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would definitely let everyone know that we've been summoned, but it's kind of on our timeline. We have some
I was
flexibility.
gonna say, does the professor have anything to say about that?
You guys have not seen him this morning, and actually, when you guys woke up, Dodrin was not in the camp as well.
Interesting. Okay. Normally, whenever we wake up, do we see lights coming out of the professor's wagon?
Yeah.
Do we see those same lights today?
Knock on the
I was
door.
going to say, yeah.
The door creaks slightly, and the professor kind of squints out. Yes. What is it?
I'm sorry, Professor. I do not mean to disturb your rest. We were just... Dodrin is not here in the camp this morning, so I wanted to be sure that he wasn't with you, or perhaps he's already made his way into the monastery to continue his studies.
I haven't seen him. He might be in the monastery. The lad has a knack for, well, he has a curious mind, let's say that.
Before he closes the door, I want to slip in like a plate with like eggs, some bacon, potatoes, hash, that kind of good hangover food. Like,
and he takes it quickly and he goes, "Thank you, Salty," and he just clicks the door shut.
Yeah, I was gonna try and let him know about the whole summoning thing,
He shuts the
but
door.
he's shut the door in our
Yeah.
face, and that's
just leave a note. Always leave a note.
scratch it in the wood.
Throw it through the window.
We'll discuss with him later. I think he's still a bit worse for wear from the night before.
Means I succeeded. In we go.
I suppose so.
All right.
Well, anywhere in particular, you guys heading back to the Chamber of the Heralds at the far deep end, that cavern, or you guys want to go somewhere else first?
I particularly would be looking for Lukesh, but if you guys are looking for Dodrin, I mean, you do you.
Yeah, I'd probably branch off when we get to that kind of split towards the library where the goblins kind of have their little camp.
Yeah.
And just see if he's like checking out the books or anything,
Yeah.
and just kind of keep an eye out for him in
Yeah.
general.
Are you all going there? Or...
I'd probably be looking out for Dodrin as well.
Okay.
so.
Okay. Ken, do you just want to head back to
I'm
the
heading
chamber?
straight to Lukesh.
Okay. So the two of you poke your head into the library. The goblins are all kind of rousing in there, but there's no sign of Dodrin.
Okay. And no signs of him
Is
leading up to there.
No.
Okay.
No.
Is Bamba awake?
Yeah, she is.
Bamba, have you seen Dodrin this morning?
The half-orc fellow. Oh, that was not her voice. The half-orc. The half-orc.
Yes, yeah.
No, I haven't seen him. Is he missing?
Well, he wasn't in camp when we woke up this morning.
Oh, well, he was pretty insistent with Lukesh last night. He might be with him. I'm not sure.
Are you feeling okay this morning?
Quite. I have not drinking that much in quite a time.
I get to.
threw
I
a
need to
rager
manage
for
my.
the-
I need to
the
manage my
goblins.
spells anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right
Hold
now.
on. I think I have a spell for this.
Oh my gosh, I can't forget this. Quick point. As you all are doing that, when you all sleep, when you're going to bed, would you all have disrobed, taken off your armors, changed into like a lighter linen? Like, what would your characters have done as they prepared for bed?
I forgot. Are we sleeping? Where would we have slept? Outside.
You guys have
around
tents.
Okay.
Yeah, Varus would take off his leathers every
Okay.
night.
Celty probably wouldn't if we're just in tents.
Okay.
And
She probably would have been too drunk to take them off, honestly.
You kind of just aren't. Okay.
yeah,
Hey, Varus, this morning when you got up and began putting on your leathers for the day, you look down and you see through your shirt in the middle of your chest, the symbol of the Brightmoor is in the middle of your chest. It almost looks like it's been tattooed there, but you feel it and there's no difference between your skin and it. It's almost like it just has become part of you in the middle of your chest.
That is alarming.
So I meant to say that earlier. So if you guys want to tell them, we can like go back and retcon and you guys have this conversation. You mention it to them, you can.
Yeah, no, I would definitely bring that up. Probably like walking out, and that's where this is gonna get funny, because I only have to sleep for 4 hours.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna wake up at like 6 in the morning and just like, oh god, oh shit, oh god, oh no, what is happening? For like 4 hours till
Yeah.
y'all wake up.
Yeah.
but you do bring it up.
Yeah.
I imagine. Well, in that case, I look in the same spot.
Nope, you don't have anything there.
So you told all
Yeah,
both of us.
I would tell both of you for sure.
Yeah, I'd probably like check like
Nothing on Salty's
chest,
chest,
or anything.
breast
yeah.
area. Nothing in Salty's just torso area.
Yeah, gotcha. I'll like kind of pull my collar back. Do I have anything on my back? Can you check?
Yes.
Yeah, you see at the nape of the neck the symbol of the Brightmoor on her.
Like mine, like
yes,
this.
your
okay,
symbol
Okay.
of what? I'm sorry, of the Eventide.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Sorry,
was
I
are they
said
all
Brightmoor,
bright?
no.
Yeah, the evening.
The symbol of the
Varus
Eventide
is
is
spreading.
is at the nape of your neck.
Okay.
Okay. Upon noticing that Salty's is on the back of her neck, I have no shame. I just drop everything.
drop
and just
it.
like
Drop trout.
stand and just T-pose.
I want to
All
like
right.
grab his ankle and like pull up and look at the bottom of one of his feet or something.
Nothing under his foot. Everyone roll a perception check at disadvantage.
Do I also roll?
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask
Because we're distracted.
Yeah,
because I'm like actively trying to kind of like look sideways
yeah.
for sure.
I rolled a 6 and a 9, but you said a perception check.
Yep.
That's 11 for me.
Okay.
10 for me.
All right.
18.
Okay. Nothing under your pants. Nothing under your shirt. But as you begin to take off some like the banded cords that you wear around your arms, almost as like pseudo gauntlets, you do find on the interior part of your right forearm is the symbol of the devoted.
I just look at it and I just go, another brand to add to the list.
At the very least, it seems it wasn't just a dream.
Is it on the same arm as his Verzin mark? Or is
We've
it
never
on-
established what shoulder.
Left shoulder.
Okay, so it's the other one.
Okay, so okay,
Yeah, it's the opposite.
gotcha.
Yeah, so his version's on the V's on the left. This is on his right forearm.
How big are the markings?
They're about 3 inches large.
Okay.
Not huge, but definitely not small.
Cool.
Well, if I run into any Dragonborn, I know what I'm introducing myself with from now on.
Yeah. So now back forward in time. So while the two of you are talking to Bamba, as you enter the Chamber of the Heralds alone, you see Lukesh and Dodrin speaking on the far side of the dais. Roll a perception check.
20.
20. You hear Lukesh say, "I'm not sure if this is the right thing for you, Dodrin. It is grueling work, and it will be tiring and exhausting. Are you sure this is the path you wish to take?" And Dodrin says, "I've never been more sure of anything in my life." "Very well, then we will begin your training immediately."
Is this? I mean, only Kane was in there.
Only Kane
because
was
he
in there
went
for that.
ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. And a few moments later, you will enter. And as you're walking in, you see that they kind of notice, and Dodrin sort of like gives like a quick like curt like bow to Lukesh, turns and walks past you. Kane gives you like a pat on the shoulder as he heads back down that corridor.
As he walks by, I go, Dodrin, I believe Varus and Salty were looking for you.
Oh, I'll go find them. Yeah, I'll go find them.
Okay.
And about the time he gets to the end of that corridor, like you guys kind of like bumping each other
Gotcha.
in the headmaster's room. Where,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
where,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
The
Gotcha.
entrance
the
to
entrance
the
to
tunnel.
The angry
tunnel is.
door.
The angry door.
Dodrin, we were just
Yeah.
looking for you.
Yeah. Hi.
Are you okay? You went there and camped
Yeah.
this
Oh,
morning.
I was speaking with Master Lukesh.
Great.
Is everything all right?
I think so. Yeah, everything's gonna be great.
Okay.
Do I notice any kind of like change in demeanor? Because he
seems-
seemed really
He
like
seems
intense
less.
last night.
He seems less off than he was last night.
Okay.
But other than that, nothing
Okay.
else.
Well, I think unless the professor's eaten all of it, there should still be some eggs and bacon and maybe potatoes in the skillet back at the campfire if you're hungry.
Okay. Yeah, I'll head out there and I will.
In the
I'll
middle
get
of
some-
the woods,
Pro-
unwatched.
provided no wolf or rabbit has come by and eaten it.
Very true. Yeah, but he just kind of brushes past you all and heads back outside.
I guess a bear would be more likely. Scavenge that. Anyway, not important.
Yeah.
For us right now.
Yeah.
But you guys can head in. Lukesh is there. When Dodrin leaves, he goes, "Oh, good to see you, Kane. How are you feeling this morning?"
Feeling grand as always.
Good. Where are your companions?
They were looking for Dodrin, so I believe they're
Ah.
having a discussion. I wanted to talk to you first.
Yes. What can I do for you?
I wanted to see about. Obviously, this is a monastery devoted to dedication, so to speak.
Yes.
I believe that this is kind of. I've been looking for an answer to some personal issues, so to speak.
And Lukesh kind of hops up and takes a seat on that dais across from you, where you're standing in front of him. He's kind of seated. He goes, "Well, perhaps I can be of some assistance. What troubles you, Kane?"
I wasn't always a Verzen.
Well, what were you before?
I was Optivus.
he kind of like chuckles. He goes, "Okay."
And I know it sounds silly to try to get back into that society. I've had this personal belief that if I continue down the path of the Platinum Dragon and help others as much as I can right the wrongs that put me on this path.
And what wrongs would that be? What did Octavius deem so horrible for you to be cast out?
Kane just kind of bites a lip. The death of a brother.
And they claim you responsible for it.
Oh, I admit responsibility.
All right. And so thus you were cast out.
Yes.
How did the chosen become chosen?
That would be... I believe that's the grand question, but I believe the grand belief is just through birth.
If you ask me, that's also our excuse to be chosen. By blood, by birth, no chance for redemption. It's a twisted view of what the great Platinum Dragon intends for all of us. At least, that is what I believe.
And I fully concur. But the world is the way the world is. And I personally, for myself, I accept that I have done wrong. I accept that I've hurt my family. But my concern is more of what happens to my children whenever that time comes. I don't want them to grow up with the knowledge that they will be shamed immediately once they reach age. I want them to have as many opportunities as they can.
Kane, you speak of you being cast out, but what cast you out was mortal. It was impure. It was rife with the judgment of corrupt and imperfect beings. Now, you have not told me the true circumstances, except for the death of a brother. Well, perhaps you are responsible in some way. Answer to Bahamut, not to mortal men or women. You owe them nothing, except for the laws that men make for themselves. For those who claim authority over the divine, they have no place and no claim on your soul.
I guess the thing in that case that I'd be seeking is this place seems to be very in touch with the divine, devotion to the divine.
I'd like to think so.
I believe this would be the path to strengthening that connection.
These magical items, these heralds, they were forged through the will of Bahamut himself. If you're seeking some way to gain a glimpse into his design, or into their design, or find answers through the Platinum Dragon, then I must say that this is, well, I believe it's the only path that someone could hope to find in this lifetime.
Will you teach me?
I will do my best. I will try.
Okay.
It seems I am gaining students by the flock today.
I overheard a little bit of you and Dodrin.
Dodrin has insisted upon being my first student here at the monastery. He wishes to learn the way of the heralds, and I, for better or worse, intend to teach him as much as I can. It'll be hard for him. While he has a very sound mind, his body is weak. It'll be hard for him, but in time perhaps he will prove capable.
He's a good lad.
You can't fault him for his determination.
He's stuck with the professor this long. Shows some form of commitment.
Yes, and he still is very loyal to that bumbling idiot.
So you see it too.
Lukesh does not play with the Professor Fellows. But Lukesh does. But he said something to me that he's wanted to find something new. that he can be a part of his whole life. That's what brought him here, and that's what drives his exploration. I believe he has the best of intentions, and perhaps he will make a fine monk of the monastery in time. Plus, it will help me in my recruitment efforts within the settlements to have someone of the settlements at my side.
He does know how to talk to people. I mean, he managed to convince fellows that we've employed Salty this entire time, so... He knows his way around.
I've seen that. He's a likable fellow. And at this point, I'll say the two of you enter the chamber. And he waves. He goes, Celti, Vars, welcome. Join us, please.
Well, I think we need to decide what comes next.
I cannot guide you. I cannot direct you. I can merely offer my support and advice should you ask it. You are the ones that have been chosen to find the heralds. And you see there's almost a sadness when he says that. He goes, not I. Like he thought maybe he would be one.
Mm.
But you see also, it's not so much a sadness like that he's like jealous. It's more that he's realized that his part is different than what he might have hoped for.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
I'm not a worldly elf. I have a feeling we'll need help finding where these artifacts are hidden. We'll need help uncovering how to use them and what to use them for. I have some calling I feel deep within me, but truthfully, I don't know what it's calling me to.
Well, perhaps here at the monastery we can help you figure that out.
Lukesh, if you were in our shoes, what would be the first thing you did?
Come to terms with what happened to me, and then ensure that any of those that I believe to be allies and friends are allies and friends, and ensure that I can rely on them through thick and thin. You all will need help. Anyone you have that you think could be of aid or service in researching or even going out on these adventures to find the heralds, go to them, see if they will be of aid in any way they can. Everyone here at the monastery, we're at your back, but that is a small number when you consider that this is the starting of the army to face Tiamat in the final battle. We have a long way to go.
I think that first bit is going to be a bit of a process to reconcile.
Undoubtedly.
But
no one's expecting you all to have raised the Legion of Bahamut overnight, but...
I'm sorry. Are we being called upon to fight a god?
The heralds will be the ones that lead and identify the heroes who will lead us into the final battle that will seal Tiamat away forever. It's part of the prophecy of union.
that keeps coming up. I think I should read these books or at least skim them. Do you have notes on, like a pamphlet or anything you give out to new recruits to get them up to speed? I mean,
we don't, but we should definitely get something printed up. Yeah. 1 second. So he will tell you about the prophecy of union. I'm gonna do this out of character just because it'll help me give you guys just whatever. And it's the prophecy of union. He starts out saying is a very vague thing. It started out as a verbal, oral tradition that has then been written down. So things have been lost or translated differently. But the crux of the matter is that the prophecy of union tells of a day in the future from when it was first told, when 3 heroes will appear upon Ubiquitous to lead the chosen to enlightenment and peace in the light of Bahamut. The time of these heroes' appearance will be an age of great change and turmoil. The heroes' coming will be marked by 3 heralds. The details of the prophecy regarding the 3 heralds is closely guarded by the high priests of Optimus, and he does tell you all this. Most Dragonborn only know the title of what the heralds are called, which is the Herald of Eventide, the Herald of Brightmoor, and the Herald of Devotion. But that these heralds will signify and identify the 3 heroes that will raise the Legion of Bahamut to battle Tiamat in the greatest battle. So maybe those heroes are you.
maybe not.
I thought we were being tasked with some sort of enlightenment, not a literal battle.
The battle will have many fronts, Varus. Not just that on the physical combat side, but a battle against Tiamat is a battle of the mind, the body, and the soul. And that is why we here at the monastery try to perfect all three.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the club.
What did I mean, I can see where yours might have been a little confusing since it was a cloak, but Kane and I saw a sword and a breastplate. I think those aren't necessarily items of peace. I mean, they can be, but I think we're gearing up for some violence.
I didn't think it would be an actual god.
Do you believe in gods generally?
Well, yes, I do.
That's one step closer to reconciling that we might have to fight one. Kane, do you know anything about this Tiamat? I know it's dragon and dragonborn related, but
Just the basics from children's stories. I've tended
like
not.
she hides under their beds and will eat their toes if they misbehave, that sort of thing.
More their tales, but yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Close enough.
We tend to focus on the good rather than the bad in our school teachings.
Anyone that wants to, and this will be the last thing we do, this explanation, but before we close out the episode, but anyone who wants to can roll me a religion check.
Yes.
That tracks.
One of the few good rolls I've had tonight. 17.
Religion?
Yep.
20.
20. Okay.
7.
7. all right.
Barbarian has the high roll again.
Varus, thrown off by this, you're a little, but the other two of you. And Salty, I would say that through your connection as a cleric, this is where you gain this knowledge, even though much of the details of Tiamat is not known to those outside of the Dragonborn societies. Tiamat is the lawful evil dragon goddess of greed. She's the queen of evil dragons. She's known as Queen of Chaos, the Undying Queen, the Dragon Queen, the Dark Lady, all these sort of things. But what she's known as is, as you know, she has 5 heads, each one one of the different chromatic colors. As far as what it means by fighting her in the last battle, I'll even say, Kane, you don't really understand, because since the forming of Elrond, when the god Foltest believed, but now there's some weird correlation between Foltest and Bahamut. Some even go so far to say that Foltest and Bahamut are 2 aspects of one god, but no one's really sure. But when Foltest formed Elrond and molded the current to create it, ever since a short time after that, there's been no real belief that gods have walked its surface. So combating Tiamat seems like a stretch, like a physical confrontation, but it's just because gods are not known to walk the surface of the planet.
So more of a metaphysical concept rather than an actual battle. I go and take my sword and stab her.
Yeah, but who knows? A millennia old prophecy. Maybe they did mean a physical confrontation. It's hard to say.
Okay.
But I'd say that's all that you guys would get out of that.
Cool.
And so with discussion of Tiamat, we'll awkwardly end this episode of Cantrips and Cocktails.
Woo!
Dragons.
Yeah. Everyone, thanks for listening. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Cantrip Cocktail. Like us on Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review. Let us know what you think. And if anyone has any ideas or would like to see any cocktails for us to try in future episodes, send us a direct message on Twitter or Instagram. We would love to see them, because eventually we might run out of our own cocktails we want to try, and we'd love to try some stuff that listeners recommend. And so with that, we will close out. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Lord. I'm fucking putting that at the
Oh,
That's going in at the end of the episode.
Kane just
That
leans
was-
over.
That was amazing. That is a Kane level belch, my friend.
Next time, don't lean away from
At
the
least
mic and
once
lean into
per
the mic.
meal.
I didn't want it going
imagine.
straight into your guys' ears. I'm sorry. But
Worth it is all I'm gonna say. Yeah, worth it.
Nope, that's my new headcanon. Once a meal.